On this episode of Star Trek Universe, we are talking about Picard 308, Surrender. Right after these words from our mystery sponsors.
Welcome to Star Trek Universe, the podcast where you get to listen in on two lifelong friends and chat about Star Trek. My name is Matthew Carroll.
I am David Z. Robertson.
Davo.
What up?
Anti-penultimate episode of Star Trek Picard.
Yep.
What'd you think?
I felt like it was a real mixed bag.
Oh, yeah? Well,
yeah.
I'm going to go first then, because I loved it. I just loved it. I think it was great. You know, I always like to be positive up top, but if you're going to be all mixed baggy, I'm going to just talk about how good it was. Man, I had a great time. I think the stuff with Data was wonderful. I really liked. I kind of like saw it coming from a long way off the little reverse turn, but that didn't make it any less meaningful. And him like choosing to let his brother basically trick himself into killing himself, you know, like it was very sad, but integrating both versions into the Golem body, and now Data just has control and still has Lore and B4 and Lol in there.
Yeah.
I thought it was great. I'm really, really excited, and it was just, that was meaningful. Seeing Geordi get that chance to tell Data how important he was to him and how thankful he is to have him back, and seeing Data be able to like say that back to Geordi and feel it for the first time. Oh, just, it's great, man. Yeah, I loved it. That was the heart of the episode for me. But you know, there was also that wonderful scene of them all sitting around the table, which I thought maybe milked it for a little bit too long. You guys are still on the run, and they're still like, you're hours away from certain doom. Like maybe.
Well, look, everyone's going to be caught up to speed. They might as well sit around the table.
Well, no. It's not that they're sitting around the table. It was that they spent like a good 10 minutes going like, hey, we're around the table. Like, I haven't seen you in a while. Good to see you. I'm kind of like, all right, I get it. And it was good to see. But like at the same time, that was the only part that I was kind of like, all right, this is a lovely scene. It needs to be there, I guess, because I need to see them all. Like, Troy getting the chance to tell Crusher how important her voice was to her, even in her absence, you know. I don't know. It was all sweet, but it was just kind of like, okay, you're here because you're in the ready room because you got to get ready. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Or not ready room. That's the little that's the room off the ship.
I know what you're talking about. The conference room.
Yeah. So, what'd you think?
Well, jumping off from what you were talking about, I did see all of that coming from far off. First of all, the Data and Lore scene. One of the things that really I enjoyed the scene, I guess, in some ways, but I hated the bad green screen. I hated it. Like, it was so weird. Like, the entirety of, like, the background. It almost looked like they filmed it in the 80s. And it was, like, very jarring, pulling away from the episode that is, like, really well lit. And no, I don't mean, like, evenly lit, like, you know, 90s TV. I mean, like, it went from looking cinematic to looking like 80s TV inside of Data's head.
Yeah, I didn't even notice that or think that, I guess.
And I wasn't necessarily buying Brent Spiner as Data or Lore in that scene. He was just sort of hamming it up to me. But also, I was disappointed because I really wanted to see Data / Lore / B4 sort of on the run, doing his thing, switching between the personalities. I felt like there was a lot of promise, a lot of potential for that they never really got to.
It feels like instead they went for, we're going to make them all integrate in this way where it's mostly Data, but we're going to like let him be a little funnier and a little like more churlish or whatever.
Right.
Which is just more like Brent Spiner. Like it's Brent Spiner wanting to be a little more Brent Spinery instead of like less affected with the Data personality and everything, which I think is fine. It's nice to see Data grow, but yeah, I agree. I think that was a really cool idea for him to be like swapping back and forth and having that, I wanted Lore to have development, not just disappear.
And I think that the way that they could have had them integrate, which I'm fine with, is to have had them like do it externally a little bit and not show us what was going on inside of Data's head necessarily. Because I felt like that was a huge break in the action while Data could have been running around helping fix stuff. But I guess Data's so powerful, all he really needed to do was, turn around and look at a screen. So
yeah, well, and they'd established that in the previous episode that he basically had control of the ship, which is further kind of pissing me off about that like throwaway line at the end of season 1 where Soong is like, "Nope, you won't have any special robot powers." Like, could Picard have been controlling ships this whole time if they just like allowed him to access that much of his brain?
I think they absolutely handicapped Picard on purpose because they knew that he would not like it.
I mean, this is like the Golem Part 2, so maybe it's a little upgraded.
Oh, no, it doesn't need to be upgraded. They legitimately told him they made him just like he was. Like,
right, I know, but I'm saying like maybe this one's a little better than that original one would have been, but like still. Yeah, they added Wi-Fi to this one.
Yeah. Like, Picard is basically like when you get into a car and you look over at the buttons and a bunch of them have just like the dead buttons inside that don't do anything. You know how like where it's like, oh, those are expansion ports where you could have something put in there.
Oh, right. Like where if you got the fully upgraded version of this car, you'd have buttons.
Right.
Yeah.
You'd have a seat warmer button here, but you didn't get that because you're lame.
Yeah, you didn't pay for that seat button warmer. You're going to regret it. We're going to make you look at this button to regret it the rest of your life.
That's right, Picard. All you have is a T-hole. A hole to pour your wretched Earl Grey.
So, I did not have the problems you had with the the green screen. I mean, it was like blurrier on the edges, but I didn't think that was bad green screen. I thought that was just like the choice. That's very much how they've been doing the, like the effect of the hallways and stuff too. Like especially when Jack does action sequences and uses his mind powers, they've been doing a lot of like blurry edges and quick panning and stuff like that. I just thought it was an extension of that visual language. I did not think it was bad green screen.
Yeah. To be fair, I think the bad green screen, the Data and Lore versus Lore scenes, I feel like they were intentional. I feel like they very much look like something that we would have seen on the Next Generation, and I think Terry Matalas just liked that and wanted to do it for that reason.
I agree that the like idea of them like standing in a white room talking to each other feels very much like something from the 80s. I mean, it feels like that episode that we've referenced a bunch this season. The one where Picard gets stabbed to the heart or whatever.
Tapestry.
Yeah, thank you. Where he wakes up and Q and him are hanging out in that void. Like it looked a lot like that. But I thought to me it looked updated. I didn't think it looked old technology wise. I do think it was kind of aping the language of that episode.
Yeah, to me it just looked like spurts of gray and blue with like clouds flying around. That's what it looked like to me, but almost like a Windows screensaver.
No, I didn't. I guess I didn't see that at all.
Yeah. Well, that's all right.
So what else? What do you think of the rest of the thing?
I really enjoyed like about a third of Riker and Troy's chat.
Yeah.
And then the rest of it felt so expository. I wanted to gouge out my eyes just to feel something different.
Huh. I guess I didn't. Yeah, I don't know. It didn't feel expository to me. It felt like they were catching up, but also like discussing, finally being honest with each other, I guess.
It's like, you were angry. after what I did, you took away my pain, Imazari. You know, it was just like, oh, okay, we're finally getting to the point where they're just gonna, like, very, step by step spell out everything that happened between them. You know, honestly, their son died. Parents feel grief.
Right. Well,
I think that's I didn't need it spelled out. Yeah, but I didn't need it, like, I don't know. It felt really clunky. It felt clunky.
Didn't feel clunky at all to me. It felt like a couple that's been holding something in that hasn't actually said the words they mean, and he's like upset at her for not letting him feel his feelings.
Yeah.
And maybe I've definitely been in that conversation in relationships where, like, sometimes
your empathic girlfriend took away your feelings.
Exactly. No, where there's something between you and you don't even know what it is yet. Like, you aren't even sure what the emotions you need to express or how to express them, and then you finally get to the point where you, like, in a situation or an argument or something, you're like, we have to talk about this, and you just have to, like, lay out how you feel, what you feel, and they lay out what they felt, and you go back and forth and try to express those feelings to each other.
Yeah, I know what a conversation is.
But I'm just saying, like, it felt like I have a lot of conversations I've had when, working through things in past relationships.
Yeah, I just think it, I think it's a symptom of the mystery box. Whereas, like, we don't know what's wrong with Riker and Troy, and then, like, we got, like, 2.5 episodes to go, and you guys are going to sit there and really inorganically discuss this thing while you're in prison. Yeah, I don't know. It felt off to me. And yet, I would have liked a little more exposition about how the hell Worf and Rafi got onto the Shrike, which they did eventually kind of say it. They said there was a shuttle, but I don't remember them ever saying they were going over there in the first place. They were just there.
They didn't. This is the weird plan from last episode that they just, like, all right, we're going to set a trap for them. And the trap was apparently that Worf and Raffi would take their ship while they were taking that ship. And then they'd be able to come in from behind. But we weren't privy to that. They just said, we're going to trap them. And then it just cut to the dead ship. And then, like, and a second dead ship that they never explained. Yeah. I feel like last episode was weirdly, like, they cut something out or something, because it was very strange.
Yeah, I feel like both this week and last week's were edited strangely. To where it's like, and there's gonna be a reveal. That's why we can't show you the logical thing that's about to happen. Oh, wait, oh no, this happened. How did we get there? There will be a line to explain it. I don't like that very much. If it's done really well.
I definitely don't like that. I don't see that except for that one place last episode. This episode felt pretty straightforward to me. But, I don't know. I really just thought it was solid, man. I liked all the Jack stuff. Yeah, oh man. Oh, fucking solids. That's so good. So good. The one thing I do absolutely hate about this episode is the fucking cliffhanger ending. I'm mad about it. Like, I'm not really, but I am viscerally wanting to know what's behind that door. Like, I am so wanting to know what's behind that door, and they did that thing that, like, I almost feel like it would have been more. Here's the problem with a cliffhanger, like this specifically. We're going to get back to next episode, and if they show it to us right away, it won't have the emotional punch. Right. Because we're not in the moment anymore. So we're going to have to we're either going to get back and find out what it is, and it's not going to feel right, or we're going to get back and we're going to sit through a whole nother episode to find out how the cliffhanger was supposed to end. Like, he's going to open the door and they're both going to, like, pass out or something, and we're going to have to wait for them to wake up and tell us what happened,
Yeah, and I feel like that's what they did last week, because it ends with her being like, now I think it's time you found out who you are.
Well, sure, but
and then it's like the entire episode. And we still don't know what he is. Exactly.
I agree with that, but, like, that's different than, like, literally a door opening and the thing is about to be presented. Like, she's just saying...
It's just dragging it out, is all I'm saying, man.
Yeah, well, there's definitely a mystery. I don't think they're doing the mystery box thing. You think they're doing this mystery box thing where, like, I don't mind a mystery. You've just been burned by so many mysteries. You've, like, the J.J. Abrams mystery box shit is terrible. And it's terrible because he doesn't decide what's in the box before he tells the mystery. He just starts putting mysteries out there, and then eventually someone will solve it. Some other writer will come along and have to figure out what this meant. Like, that's terrible. But if you can put a great mystery out there and put it right in front of my face, and me like really have to speculate, and this season they've done that so far in ways that have made me really excited.
I think I've been down for it most of the season. At this point, though, I'm starting to get aggravated because I'm just like, I want it kind of wrapped up because I want the last episode to be an epilogue or something.
It's
like,
not going to be. It's not going to be.
I know it's not.
They're going to give us 20. Well, stop wanting it then.
I won't, because I think it's better.
Just no, it's not. It's never good to have like an entire epilogue episode. I do think they're going to need like a good 20 minutes at the end to give us a good epilogue.
Yeah.
Or they're going to like kill off the main character, and that'll be the ending, you know.
Yeah. I mean, the thing of it is, you know, in a lot of ways, this crew is like family to me. So, like, I do just want to have, like, I don't know, a chunk of an episode where they're just all okay and hanging out.
Oh,
like,
yeah, me too.
Yeah, like, it's not, like, I don't need them to drag everything absolutely all the way the hell out.
Right.
But
they're giving us, I mean, that's what that table scene is about. It's them getting the chance to just sit around and chat for a minute before they get into the business. And, it's either effective or not. I think it's a little weird because, you know, it feels like, hey, guys, talk about the impending danger to Starfleet. Like, what are you doing? I know you all missed each other. Just give us some, I could have used some shorter, like, some hugs and some embraces, and then just get to work, you know?
Well, you know where I really felt that way was when Vadic was like, I'm going to give you 10 minutes to come up to the bridge. And then Jack and Picard and Beverly just, like, hang out and leisurely talk about, like, what he's got to do and, like, his powers and his dreams and his door and the voices and the oh my God, dude, just do a thing. We all know you're going to try to do the thing. Just, why do you have to tell your parents? Just freaking leave.
Well, they did have to, like, come up with the plan, and they had to figure out how to get data working and all that stuff. Like, it was all part of it. And I agree. I mean, obviously, like, they wrote it. They could change that if they wanted to.
Yeah.
This episode gave us more clues as to his power set, or, like, more information about his power set. More clues to his origins. Like, I don't mind them stretching out the mystery as long as they're giving us more breadcrumbs to chew on. Like, that makes it fun for me. Like, we get to sit here on the podcast and go, like, what does it mean that he's ancient and dark? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
What is an ancient and dark? What is it? I wrote it down, the actual ancient and...
Well, they said there was a voice in his head that was ancient and weak.
Ancient and weak.
Yeah.
Yeah, a dark presence that's passing through him that is ancient and weak.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
I feel like that's what's... I love this shit. I love ending an episode where I'm going like, ancient and weak. Like, I get to scan through the Rolodex of Star Trek things and be like, what is an ancient and weak dark force that could be part of Jack Crusher and definitely fucking has something to do with the Irumodic syndrome. We found out they scooped out the Irumodic parts of Picard's brain this episode. Another tick in the column of that theory is absolutely true.
Oh, man. Okay, so Irumodic syndrome, which one of the, you know, they thought one of the symptoms of that was, you know, popping back and forth through time.
Yeah.
Ancient and weak and evil. I think the big bad of the season is procedural network television.
Oh, so it's gonna be like a She-Hulk thing.
You can watch any point in you can go to the future, you can go to the past. You don't ever know where you are.
Have you seen She-Hulk yet?
Absolutely, I've seen She-Hulk, and I love the shit out of it.
It's so good. It's that and like spoiler alert, skip forward 30 seconds. But like, it's very much like the sort of like resolution of the season is like them actually just talking to, why is the show bad? Like, why are these elements, why do we have to care about this bullshit? I just want to be a character and grow. It's so good. It literally is like procedural network television is the enemy. Like, let's make something different. Like, it's so good. Ugh.
Yeah. I was thinking of it like as a a community episode, but sure. I know you can't not make everything about the MCU.
Yeah, man. It's just so relevant.
Yeah.
No, like, but come on. Ancient, dark, telepathic, using the changelings, but we don't know if it is a changeling. It could be the A472. I mean, A472 still
on the table.
Still on the table. The only thing that makes me feel like A472 isn't the best option is because is there something else that could like connect to Picard in a stronger way? Like, is there something in Picard's past? The only thing I can think of is Q, but they kind of handled that last season. But whether this is like the death throes of Q's mind reaching out into the, you know what I mean? Like ancient, dark, weak. He's like, you know, whatever. Anyway, like, but I'm just trying to think of something that connects to Picard's past. Possibly Picard's last 2 episodes. You know, like, what is it?
Aha! I've got it.
What you got?
In his death throes, as he was connected with that Ron Perlman, Riemann, Shinzon threw his consciousness into an 8472.
Oh, that would be terrible. This is
terrible. It would be.
This is a terrible idea.
It would be, yeah. But you know, like those, it's like the black vines, the Stranger Thing vines.
Yeah.
That we keep seeing. And we saw them on a face, encroaching up a face in his visions. It still looks like the 8472.
Okay.
It still does.
I agree with you. I think 8472 is very likely.
The only way 8472 would really connect to Picard in a certain way is their connection with the Borg.
Right. That's another thing. We also have this hanging thread of last season with the Borg like guarding the gateway. Another ancient and weak thing could be some version of the Borg. Some version of like the other version of the Borg before Jurati took over. You know what I mean? Like, what if there's like there's like a battle for the consciousness of the Borg, and they're reaching out to Locutus. I don't know. I'm just reaching for straws. But like, I feel like there could be something that connects to Picard's past that this could be instead of just another, just an 8472, which connects strongly to us, but a lot of people, well, I guess Voyager had a large audience. Like, I guess a lot of people know 8472s.
Yeah, you know, and Seven's there. I don't need them to like necessarily have a vendetta against Picard.
Right, sure.
I'm fine with like Picard's arc being, I have a son.
It's not about vendetta.
Yeah.
For me, it's just about like, you know, thematic resolution of his arc. If this is the end for him, especially, it'd be nice to see him go out resolving something he's always wanted to resolve, or, you know, whatever. And maybe that maybe there's 8472. Maybe you know, the Borg, Jurati Borg, are holding back some like transwarp conduit from 8472 opening it, you know?
Yeah, maybe. I can see that.
And maybe they're needing, like, what if they're needing whatever happens at Starfleet Day or whatever? What is it?
Federation Day? Is that what it is?
I can't remember. It's not like First Contact Day.
Whatever bullshit day that they're doing where the Picard has to speak at.
I can't remember. And they've said it so many times. They said it 4 times this episode, and I can't remember the name of the day. It's so stupid.
Starfleet Miniskirt Day.
I know it's going to pop in my head in a second. It's just not there. But, like, what if they're going to do something? What if 8472 is influencing this sect of the changelings to, like, cause some disruption that might, like, cause the fleet to stop the Borg from stopping their transwarp conduit? They're trying to break into our universe or whatever. That's like a conduit to fluidic space that's going to bring in the 8472 invasion. Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know what it is.
I mean, I don't. I sure don't. I think I do want to say that there were several good things. And I'm not sure if this is one of them. I just Felt very much that like Vadic murdering that person on the Vulcan, and then Seven's like, Lieutenant blah 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 is dead, while Picard hears it over the comm. So Star Trek 3.
Yeah, for sure.
Like that whole scene, that whole bit was very, very Star Trek 3. I'm like, Terry Metalis, your geekiness is showing. I know what you're doing. You're not even being subtle about it. Same time, I was still going. Man, I'm glad Vadic is dead though, because this episode they gave us more than we'd ever gotten before, and I was like, okay, I'm done. I'm good. It was like one final over helping.
I don't know, man. I was like, can we scoop all that in and bring her back later? Like, can we get a doggy bag of Vadic so we can get a tiny Vadic next season?
Oh God. There's no next season. This is it.
Whatever they do. I'm excited because like even though, you say you want a moment where they're just all happy and whatever, they kind of are. This was the end of an episode. This was sort of the end of the Vadic arc. It took them 8 episodes to get past the mini boss, and now they're going to, like, you got 2 episodes left, and so it feels like we're going to get a really solid 2-parter where we get the actual crew of the Enterprise functioning, Enterprise D crew functioning as a crew on this episode, and I'm pumped for it, man.
Maybe like a solid movie, and yeah. But you know what? Damn Terry Metalis. This Federation Day bullshit. This is the Kittimer talks from Star Trek 6. That son of a bitch. I know exactly what he's doing.
Okay, well then what is trying to cause a fight? You know what? It could be that 8472 is trying to get all of the people from normal space to have a fight to weaken their forces, ruin the peace between a sniper's bullet ruining the peace between these two peoples, the Dominion, cause another Dominion war,
Yeah.
Weaken their ranks.
Yeah, man. I mean, clearly they want to take out the Federation.
It seems it. There's something weird though. Like they keep talking about Federation Day, and it's definitely something to do with Federation Day. But like, there was a moment like last episode where they talked about, well, you need his body to reanimate him. You need to pass the test so you can do this thing. And then she just smiles, like, and it was sort of like perceived by them like, yeah, see, we're right. But like, it didn't seem like that to me. It seemed like Vadic was like, they are on the wrong trail. Like, they don't even know what we're trying to do.
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, like they said this episode, they definitely grabbed part of his brain that was affected by Ironic syndrome.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. And the body, then they left that body behind. So, like, they're not even worried about the body. It's something to do with Ironic syndrome. It's something to do with what that actually is, because it's not Ironic syndrome.
Yeah. I'm very intrigued. I'm very curious to see what they're doing.
Me too. Because also, like, that Ironic syndrome thing has been, going for a while. Like, it was in the first episode of Picard itself, where they're, like, checking on him. The doctor came to look at him and stuff.
Yeah, it's right out of All Good Things.
Yeah. So what if it hasn't been Ironic syndrome and it's something else, and it seems like it connects to, it gives Jack these powers possibly, like it has something to do with all of this stuff. Like what unlocked potential has Picard had all this time,
You telling me his physical body, his organic body was also like the car with the buttons missing?
Yeah, it was. He's been real janky all this time. He's a real basic Captain Picard model.
It was like that's why he was always such a great diplomat. He was like subtly influencing people to see you must see the reason behind my words. I do see the reason behind your words.
I was actually thinking about that when we were learning about Jack's powers this episode. I was like, what if Picard all those years had those powers and didn't know it? And that's what I really did think that during the episode. I was like, what if that's been a part of his, magnetism, a part of his leadership even. The diplomat thing, but also like he's led people for a long time. Like part of it is he has like a subtle mind control.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
That would be interesting. I got a couple lines that I have to bring up. It's just funny. Well, these aren't funny. The first one I really like, well, they're funny, is that when Will and Deanna are sitting and he's like, when they kill us, I just want you to experience that Riker charm one last time or whatever. As soon as they fell into that, it felt more, I feel like Riker feels more naturally like Riker when he's playing opposite Deanna than anywhere else. Like, it just felt really good to me. And then my favorite line of all the lines they had when they're sitting on the floor talking was, "It's a very judgy foyer."
Yeah, I did enjoy it once they started once they started talking about how much they hate Nepenthe.
Me too. It was my favorite part. And then, but the judgy foyer was like that was the peak for me. But like all of that stuff about, oh man, I hate it there. Why are we there?
There was a really weird, like, troubling piece of conversation that they didn't address that I thought they were going to. When she says that the changeling was great in bed but bad at making pizzas, and he was like, just like me. And then like 5 seconds later, she's like, I knew he was a changeling the second he walked in. Why did you have sex with him?
I don't think she did. Right? I think that was the joke or whatever.
I hope it was a joke, but it didn't seem like one.
I thought it seemed like a joke at first, or like I thought it seemed like a joke, but also, maybe not. But then when she revealed that that seemed like she was saying, like, I'm just kidding. I knew they were changelings as soon as I saw them. I didn't actually let him
right
touch me in my alien parts. I don't know.
In her Betazoid? Beta Z? I don't know. Look, me and my wife make a lot of stupid genital jokes in reference to Star Trek, and Bethany has taken to referring to alien vaginas as Bajora.
Oh.
So. She's like not my Bajora.
Labia Bajora, that sort of thing.
Yeah. Yep.
It's good.
Absolutely.
Good. I really liked Jack calling Vadic a monologuing protoplasm. It's good.
Wait,
it's good.
Well, no, that was Data.
Oh, you're right. No, it was Data. You're totally right. I was just thinking he was on the bridge, so it had to have been Jack. But you're right. It's totally Data. Data's whole thing there was wonderful. Data is a very different character, very different delivery, lots of humor in what he's doing. Very over the top. I don't know. I dig it though.
Yeah, there at the end, once he was like integrated and everything, he felt like Data from Generations, but in control of himself, and I dug that.
Or for me, it was Data from All Good Things.
Oh yeah,
when he has his emotion chip and he's like integrated and he's like making jokes with them when they come in and he's like sitting in his little chair.
Yeah, well, I don't know. He seemed so like faux stuffy. When he's Professor Data and he's got the little skunk thing and he's like, he's such a cock.
That's true. To me though, that's sort of kind of he's sort of almost playing a character in that moment. And man, his love for Spot, like God,
I know that did get me a little bit.
It got me good, man. He's like this Spot taught me to love. Like, I'm going to cry if they're talking about it. And then he hands it. And, like, it's because I saw it, like, forecast that's what was happening. And he's like, it's the last piece of me. It's the thing that taught me how to love. It's the thing that you need to become me. It's the piece that you're missing is love. And he hands him Spot, and you know that he's like killing his brother by showing him how to love, and it's so sad and so beautiful at the same time. It was so fucking good.
Yeah, I really like that part. I did like I knew you wouldn't be able to destroy my memories because you would take them as trophies, and that's what you would need to become me. Like, actually, like the first little like, I don't know, hint of like my throat closing up on me over it was and now I've lost it. Damn it. Like when Laura was like, "Why are you giving me these things?" And he said, "Because you never had them. You never had anything. I had all of these things."
Yeah.
And I was just like, "Oh, you selfless bastard!" But of course, it was all a ruse.
Kind of like.
I'm a cynic, Matt. It was a ruse. He knew by giving him those memories he was gonna kill his brother.
See, I kind of like the fact that he kills him is not really what he does, though. He like transforms him into himself, which in a way kills Lore, but it really just evolves Lore. You know what I mean? Like into the Data. It like takes the Lore that never had all that love and shows him that love.
Yeah.
It's really, really. I kind of wish they had expressed it differently because in the end it does just appear that like Data comes back and Lore dies.
They even say goodbye to each other.
Yeah, they do. Goodbye, brother. Gosh. Yeah, but I wish they'd expressed it differently because the way they describe it is he's becoming him, which is almost like he's letting himself be consumed so that he can become him. And that's kind of just a more beautiful thing. And what do you think of Tasha Yar's hologram?
It was there.
I thought it was neat.
It was fine.
We've talked about whether she would show up, and it doesn't seem that she will. At this point. And it's nice to have just a little memento of her in the episode. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, I was fine with it being there, and it made sense that it would be in Data's memories as a treasured thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, if she hadn't made an appearance, I probably would have been like, that's a little weird.
Yeah.
But I would have been more like that if they hadn't done Spot. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, but yeah, I'm glad we got a little bit of Tasha there. That was nice. That was a nice little nod.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I really liked the line, you don't spend a life practicing charismatic deflection because you want to invite people inside.
Mm-hmm.
Just Jack has great lines. I like how well defined that character is and how quippy and stuff.
Yeah. He's a good character so far.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy his banter.
Yeah, it's the kind of thing that if given to the wrong writer could get bad. Like it could get overdone or something, but like I like it so far. I hope they keep that level of quality to all his quips and stuff. Really good.
Yeah. I'll tell you what I really liked. Worf's like spilling his guts to Deanna.
Yes.
The time since I have seen you, I have thought of you often. And Riker's like, is this a rescue or still part of the torture?
It's really good. That was really, really good. And it made a lot of sense, like total sense why Worf would be like unloading right there. Like the Worf we've seen this season and how he would be like, yeah, I'm the sensitive guy now. I got to show you that I'm the sensitive guy now. But like, hey, Worf, we're a little busy right now, bud.
Like at some point, like in the middle of it, Riker goes, inappropriate.
Inappropriate.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I know I kind of unloaded and was like, here's some shit I didn't like. But it was like I said, it was a mixed bag for me. There were things I really didn't like and things that I really, even in the scenes that I didn't like, there were things I really loved in those scenes.
Right. Yeah.
So it's
here's one thing I didn't like.
Sure.
No ethical. Last week we had kind of what I think.
I knew it.
What I think was a almost meaningless ethical discussion that almost just felt like it was shoved in there. We had two of them, I think, last week, and this week we have Jack deciding to puppet people's bodies after getting one of them killed. He takes one over, has them walk down a hallway, and they die, and then he goes, "All right, let's do that again." Let's There's no ethical concerns in this moment. Like no ethical discussion over whether we should puppet a body up to the bridge and have them face this very dangerous enemy rather than go myself.
Yeah. Did he tell Picard about that?
No.
Or was it just or did he just like sneak out and drive the parents' car and then it got smashed and he like crept back into his room like, I don't know who stole it.
Yeah, I don't know who killed. Who killed that ensign out there in the hallway? It's just like piloted an ensign directly into like, a disruptor fire, and then like, I think I'm getting the hang of this. I can retake the ship. I really can.
Picard, Picard would just be like, what about that dead ensign out there? And then he could be like, what about Ensign Lynch? He's like, stop reading my mind.
Ensign Lynch is alive in my mind.
And she's real in my mind.
Oh, man. Mixing our Star Trek moments. All right, guys. I think I'm at the end of my discussion of this episode. How you feeling? You got anything you want to throw out there before we close her down?
I had a few things I was curious about.
Yeah.
Because Bethany, my wife, brought it up, and I didn't have an answer. When did Vadic take control of the Titan? Like, when did she get the security codes? Or did that happen?
I can't remember. It was last episode. I do remember.
That's what I said.
Stepping onto the bridge and being in control. And it wasn't just with force. Like, I remember her having control of the computers and stuff. He commanded Seven to blow up the turbo lift because she was on her way up, and she already had control at that point, I believe.
Okay.
But I had to go back and watch to remember exactly when that happened. I think like that was all part of her plan.
I feel like part of the problem of doing this right when they come out is like I don't have time to like kind of pop back and look at scenes.
That's why I'm like, we keep it short and piffy, and then we'll move on, and we have our feedback episodes.
Y'all
dig in.
Tell us how Vadic took over the Titan.
Yeah, somebody
apparently
remind
we didn't
us.
watch those episodes. I didn't even think about it, and Bethany like paused it and was like, so when Riker took over, Shaw had to give him authorization, and then he had to put in his authorization code. When did they do that for Vadic? And I was like, damn, that's a good question.
Now,
I don't know.
There was a line in this episode that Will apparently gave her some codes. He said they were compromise codes, but but that may be how she got, because he says in this episode, did we do the right thing giving her those compromise codes?
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Then he gave her compromised codes that could be easily taken out with like Jean-Luc's code.
Right, exactly. But it still like kept the ruse alive to keep them alive.
Okay.
Basically, they traded lives for the poor lady on the bridge and all those ensigns in the belly of the ship.
Those lower deckers.
Yeah, those lower deckers aren't doing very well on this episode.
It's just like a random guy running through the hallway to the corridor with his dick on fire.
Does it know how far this is after lower decks,
It was Boimler, wasn't it?
I really want to see like Captain Boimler like fly in, like it'd be pretty good.
Yeah.
Of course, we'd know that like he'd be captain, and we'd already kind of know the end of the series, I guess, or at least that's the problem with all these different timelines, man. I want the crossovers, but when they happen, they like, tell me how things end.
Yeah. Well, kind of. Like, there's still something in the journey for Boimler. So if they wanted to have like, we still wouldn't know what happened with Mariner. We wouldn't know what happened with Tendi or Rutherford. So like, if they wanted to have like, I don't know, for some reason in the middle of a very dramatic episode of Picard, the USS Dingleberry fly in with Boimler at the...
Yeah, you're right. We should save that for Legacy, probably.
With Jack Quaid with his purple hair.
Yeah,
being
man.
like, Captain?
Or like, that's the thing. They wouldn't even have to say it's Boimler. They could just have Jack Quaid with purple hair like fly in and do some stuff and be like, yeah, we know who that is.
Yeah.
Be good. I'd enjoy that. I'd love to see live action. I know we're supposed to see it on Strange New Worlds, and I'm really excited about it. Really, really excited about it.
Me too. I'm very, very down to clown on that one. But.
All right. Was there something else?
I don't have anything else for the moment. Like,
cool.
I'll try to muster something else up for a feedback episode later in the week.
If you got anything, Star Trek UCast@gmail.com, and we'll get to talking sometime later this week.
Yep, and we're also on the Twitter and the Instagram and YouTube and
Star Trek UCast everywhere.
Well,
I think.
Yeah, well, Star Trek Universe Podcast on Instagram, but otherwise.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
all
Star
right.
Trek UCast.
Well, we'll be back soon, guys. Drill on true.
Live long and prosper.
Thank you for listening to the Star Trek Universe Podcast, a Stranded Panda production. If you'd like to hear more from David C. Robertson, check out the DC On Screen podcast or maladjusted.tv for his web videos. If you'd like to hear more from Matthew Carroll, check out the Marvel Cinematic Universe podcast or listen to his music. Just search for Matthew Carroll anywhere you get music.